All right, here we go. This is where we ended the last lesson. You can see that I'm in Illustrator. And let's just look over here underneath my layers panel to see what I have going on. This is really where we're focused, and in order to begin this particular portion of the assignment, you want to have this completed, right? So we talked about the line, shape, and color. I've completed my self-portrait and I have deleted that photo. So the photo is gone. And what I've got left is just sort of this drawing. By the time we finish this exercise, this is what we should have. And I'm going to show you how to get there with sort of the least amount of effort possible. Okay. So we've got line, shape, and in mine, I called it color, but you'll see that in this recording demo, I have annotated down here. This can be color or detail, depending on sort of how these things are coming together for you. So let's go ahead and get started. This is the completed area, completed assignment. We're ready to export all of our elements into Photoshop. You can see here in the assets layer, or the asset export panel, that I've gathered all of these and just dumped them in here. And this will line up with what we did last week on the GIFs or the repeating circles. I want to point out also that we've added a couple of artboards. So these big white spaces here are called artboards. You don't have these if you're just looking at your mat, and I'm going to show you how to add those. We're going to fly this out again. It's under artboards, and I have titled them line, shape, color, or detail to reflect what we're going to be working on. Okay, so I'm going to move over to this document that is ready for us to go. I'll show you how to create these artboards. You're going to fly this out and just add 3 more. 1, 2, 3. Double click, line, shape, and color or detail, whatever that looks like in your project. Hit enter. And then let's just go ahead. I've got my layers set up as well. So I'm going to lock these because we're doing a lot of sort of harvesting. So what I've likened it to really is growing an orchard here. Now we're going to go get some lines. We're going to work on the line area. So let's get a little bit closer. Command plus, and then hold your space bar, click and drag to center quickly onto your artboard. Let's just flash onto the terms for this particular exercise. You can take a screenshot here. I'll hold, or you can download it from the file. Okay, so the hotkey that I just exercised is space, click, drag, and it quickly repositions your artboard or your working space. Here are all of those quick keys that we've been talking about all week. And I sort of layered them all out as well as some of the terminology. So here I am back in my area, and what I want to do is just grab this, and I'm gonna make some decisions about what parts I need. So I'm gonna select. I'm gonna click Option Drag. So remember, when I'm holding the Option key down, I should see a second arrow pop up. I've got a black arrow and a white arrow. That means I'm gonna get a copy of whatever is selected. This stuff is individual right now, meaning I can select each part and piece and sort of determine what I want, throw them away, keep it, whatever I'm into. I'm going to select everything, and for this assignment, let's take a look down here. We're looking under stroke and fill. And you can see that because I have all of these sort of different shades or variants selected, I've got both question marks. I want all of my imagery to start acting as a group. So I'm going to use the hotkey Command G, which is going to group it. That means that this is now one piece of artwork, which means I can start to give instructions to the computer, which includes no fill. I don't want any fill here, but it's still it's confused about what I'm doing for lines. So I'm going to give it those instructions. All I want are those red lines. And then I'm going to go in here and make some more decisions because this looks really busy to me. So using my direct selection key, which is A, it's going to switch it to this white arrow. That's going to allow me to delete some of these things that I think might just be a little bit heavy in my end game here. Anytime that I sort of double drew on something or getting rid of these whiskers is sort of what I call them, I'm going to go ahead and just be super brave and get rid of that entire indication. That one I sort of want. The mouth is another really picky place. I don't want all of this indication here. So one by one, I'm just going through and sort of deleting these and making it into a cleaner area. Probably overkill here. Some of these details are looking cool, but again, it's a little much. I know just from what I did earlier that I don't need all of these details in my line drawing. Keep in mind that your final destination here is a repeating image. So it's going to go according to the rhythm that you choreograph. It's going to go talk, talk, hold, talk, talk, hold, talk, 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 talk. Right? So you don't, less is, it can be more here. Keep the cool stuff and get rid of some of the extras. Let me get rid of some of these. Let me go ahead and get rid of some of this outline because I'm thinking ahead to my Photoshop file and I don't really need to know where that body starts and stops. What I'm really interested in here is making sure that the figure of the female is readable, meaning I know that it's a human. And then I'm getting some sort of indication of the face, the lips, the nose, maybe in your case, the eyes. And there are a couple different places where that's going to happen. It's definitely going to happen in the shady areas. Some of these wrinkles or creases in the clothing and or the neck. And I might come through and clean that up again. But for right now, that makes me pretty happy. So what I'm going to do is switch to my selection tool, which is the black arrow. Quick key is the V. I'm going to select this, make sure that it's grouped. The way that you can tell is that no parts and pieces are left behind. I want to leave everything here because this is essentially my farm, right? This is my orchard. So if I need more parts and pieces as I'm working on my piece in Photoshop, I want to make sure that I have them here. So I don't really want to delete them or dilute them any further than I've made in these decisions. I need a copy. So that's click, option, drag. Sweet. And I'm going to lay it right there. That makes me more or less happy. The thing that would make me even more happy is if I had some of those swatches that I worked so hard to get off the Adobe website. So I'm going to go to where I've saved these and just search ASE, which is an Adobe color swatch we talked about a little bit. I'm going to pull in some that I have saved in the past. So up here in the swatch panel, fly that out, look at your hamburger, come all the way to open swatch library, other library. And I know that I've saved a bunch of mine on my hard drive. What do you think about, oh, this is a good one. Yeah, that's super pretty. So now I've got these down here and I can start to change the colors of my line drawing, right? So we want a minimum of 4 is the way that I'm doing this today. I'm going to click Option Drag. I'm going to recolor. I'm going to click Option Drag. I'm going to recolor. I'm going to click Option Drag. And I'm going to give myself a 4th color. As you're working through this, the more vibrancy that you add into your project, the brighter the colors, the more you'll see that transition. Conversely, if I went back to my ASE frog theme, you can see these are all a little bit more muted. That would be appropriate for a project that's a little bit more subtle, something that you're working on that you don't want to be as loud visually, okay? Guess what? I'm done. So I'm going to go back to my layers panel. I am going to, neat. I drew all of those onto my draw panel, which is what I didn't want. So I'm going to select, copy, delete, lock, and then I'm just going to repaste them onto the correct layer. Now I'm going to lock that up. I'm going to open up shape and open up draw. I'm going to do sort of the same thing here. Click Option Drag. And I'm going to switch this. Now I've got sort of some interesting stuff happening, right? What's happened in Illustrator is that by taking out some of the detail in that line work, I've messed with the way that the shapes close themselves or that the paths end. I'm going to delete that and I'm going to take it from here, which is my original garden, orchard, or farm. I'm going to bring it down here and I'm going to go through the same process again. Actually, let's make sure we get this on the right layer so we save ourselves some headaches later. Lock up that draw here. And I should be working on shape. Okay, great. So from here, what we're going to do is get rid of the lines. So I've selected everything that's included in my original portrait. And I've come over here to make sure that there is no stroke indication. So make sure that you have that null. That's the red line over the white space, whether it's fill or stroke. And that means there is no line that's active. I've got in mine a couple of different colors and I can change that if I want to. But I don't think I will. I think I like it like this. So same thing here. Spin these guys in a little bit so they're not in the way. Command minus just to make my artboards sort of fit into the screen a little bit. I'm going to click, drag, select, Command G for group, and then hit that Option key again. Remember, drag and drop. I've got the same thing. Done. So go back here to your layers panel, check and make sure these are all on shape, lock up shape. And one more time, we're going to come back to draw. And for my particular drawing, I had a nice sort of outline there that included just really the background. Like if I lay that over here, you can sort of start to see how the drawing lines up with the shade. And this I got just by clicking with the pen tool and adjusting the place where those angles match. This is all I want right now in color or detail. This makes me super happy. I'm gonna lock up my draw panel. I'm gonna pass. Make sure I'm on the right thing. I'm gonna paste my color and or detail there. And then it's the exact same thing onto your final artboard. You can copy, paste, just as much as you can use that option click drag to duplicate, right? So this is just a couple of ways to do some other things. If you remember last week, we talked about doing something called Command D, which is a duplicating command. It will duplicate what you've done immediately prior to that command, which means I'm going to get all of these in a row, because the very first thing I did was select option, click drag to get my secondary image. Then Command D is going to repeat that exact same set of rules, which is fine, except for I sort of want these down here. Just a quick note, if you have the OCD and you want these to line up more like Andy Warhol's soup iterations, you need to select more than 2. And in your menu up here, you'll get an alignment command, right? So first I'm going to align the middle. Then I'm going to align their center. Do the same thing for that pair there. And then I can sort of start to relax and focus more on the colors. Head back to my colors. Okay, so that's it. You've got everything that you need now, and you need to drop them, remember, into your asset export panel. This is where we're going to get them or harvest them for our next step in Photoshop. So what I'm going to do is click, drag, select all. It's only indicating these because I've got these locked up. Just exactly the instructions that I gave it. Unlock those, open up the asset export window, and drag. I should have 12, but I have 13 for some reason. Super mysterious. Oh, because I was doing this before. That's why. So the asset export panel will number every asset that you drag and drop during the entire project. So I've actually, since I deleted all of those, I've actually got everything I need. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Come down here and take a look at the scale. 4x is good for what we're doing. A PNG is fine. I found last night when we were working on this that those can export into a very small file, which is fine because we're working, our ultimate output is a GIF. So it's not like a huge print project or anything, but it's a little frustrating to get all the way to Photoshop and see really low res imagery. So go ahead and select JPEG 100. You're going to export those. I'm going to put them into this folder that I'm working with currently. It's on my external hard drive, portraiture demo, 4X. And that is exactly what I want. So you're gonna stop here, you're gonna hit save, and you're gonna wait for our next round of instructions, which we'll take care of next week, okay? Cheers.